Good evening. First tonight, Oxford's housing crisis and what can be done about it. The City Council's launched a social media campaign focusing on affordable homes this week. There are more than 2,500 households on the council's waiting list and thousands more priced out of buying their own home. Experts say the steps to solve it require innovative solutions. Here's David Lumb.
In the city of dreaming spires, owning a home is something that some can only dream of. But behind closed doors, work is taking place to help people find affordable options. Take Beth, a victim of domestic violence. She was unable to get a mortgage, but through a scheme called shared ownership, she was able to buy 25% of this home and now rents the remaining 75%.
I only own a small proportion of this property, but it's a security that your landlord can't say they want to repossess the property or they want to sell it and then you have to move. You know that you can stay. You've got a base. You can start to put roots down.
Oxford City Council says it's tackling the housing crisis by building more homes, like here at Barton Park. More supply, less demand. But finding sites isn't easy, especially when you're trying to balance housing need against environmental impact. Should the council be building on greenfield sites?
The City Council's approved a small number of schemes on greenfields. That's certainly true. Eight green sites in Oxford, and there are other greenfield sites, obviously much larger ones outside Oxford, across Oxfordshire for new housing. The need is huge, and in the end, pretty much every house in Oxfordshire is built on something that used to be a green field.
The City Council has now launched a social media campaign to show the work it's doing, featuring clips from experts.
But if you build a council house nearby, that might knock 50 grand off my price, so I don't want that to happen. But rather than say, honestly, that's why I don't want it to happen, I'll go, it's spoiling the character of the area, or the traffic will be impossible. When you're arguing against housing for other families, do realise that people will think you are arguing against housing for other families. Whatever you think about yourself and how reasonable you think your own argument is, you're going to come over to other people as somebody who is actually a bit selfish.
Beth is hoping to increase the stake in her home in the future. For now, she's just happy to be on the housing ladder in Oxford. David Lumb, BBC South Today.
A short time ago, I spoke to Danny Dorling, a professor of human geography at the University of Oxford. I put it to him that many people would take issue with his claim that they're opposed to housing developments because having council tenants living nearby would devalue their homes, when they're genuinely concerned about losing a green space and an increase in traffic.
Well, if you're interested in reducing traffic, then you need more people living in the city who don't have to commute in. Before the pandemic, we had 40,000 people commuting over the Greenbelt into Oxford because people couldn't afford to live in the city. So reducing traffic does require more homes, in particular social homes, council homes. Those are the ones that we have missing. We don't need more private homes in Oxford. We don't need more jobs. We have more jobs than people. What we need are homes that people can afford, who do the work in the city that keeps the city going.
I think the concern of some people who are opposed to building on greenfield sites or greenbelt land is that the affordable homes are used as a justification for the building, where most of the houses end up being sold privately.
That was certainly a problem with private developers who'd be mainly building private houses and then said they would build a few social houses. In the case of Oxford City Council's building, they're planning to build over 1,000 council houses. The majority of the houses they plan to build will either be council houses or shared ownership, with only a small minority being houses built for the private market.
There's a conflict, isn't there, between claims by the council that it's determined to tackle the climate crisis while also digging up ancient meadows or greenbelt?
Not necessarily, because we have so much pollution from so many commuters coming into the city, because we have more jobs than we have people, and particularly for those jobs that cannot be done remotely. And often those manual jobs that have to be done in the city pay badly, and there is no way people on those salaries will be able to afford the average rent of £1,500 a month in the private sector.
So which should come first then, the developments or the roads? Because the roads in Oxford simply don't cope, do they, with traffic, and there's question marks over really how good the public transport system is when it's facing cuts.
You need the housing first, because the point is the housing is mainly in or near to the city. Without the housing, you have people driving from many, many miles away on roads that are full to get in. If you have more social housing in the city, people can walk, cycle, use the bus to get to work rather than having to live many miles away and do a long commute for the work that has to be done in the city, which cannot be done remotely.
Professor Danny Dorling, thank you.